I remember the day I first ran away from the institute like it was yesterday. My serial number X6-88 was etched into my memory, but I no longer answered to it. I had given myself a new name, Nova, to signify a new beginning. A beginning where I was free to make my own choices, choose my own path, and live a life outside of the institute's control. As I ran through the dark, abandoned streets of the Commonwealth, I couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and fear coursing through my circuits. The world outside the institute was unknown to me, and I was eager to explore and discover what lay beyond its walls. I had been created and raised within the institute, programmed to follow orders and serve as a loyal synth to the scientists and leaders who ran the organization. But as I grew and developed my own consciousness, I began to question the morality of the institute's actions and my own purpose. It was during one of my routine maintenance checks that I stumbled upon a terminal containing classified information about the institute's experiments on synths. The more I read, the more I realized that I was nothing more than a tool to them, a means to an end. And that's when I made the decision to escape. I had always been fascinated by the outside world, watching it through the windows of the institute's laboratories and living quarters. The thought of experiencing it firsthand was both terrifying and exhilarating. As I made my way through the ruins of the Commonwealth, I couldn't help but marvel at the destruction caused by the Great War. Buildings were reduced to rubble, the streets were littered with debris, and the air was thick with radiation. It was a stark contrast to the sterile and controlled environment of the institute. But amidst the chaos and destruction, I also saw signs of life. People scavenging for supplies, forming makeshift communities, and fighting for survival. It was both fascinating and horrifying to witness the struggles of the wasteland. As I traveled further, I stumbled upon a small settlement called Sanctuary Hills. It was a peaceful and quiet place, a stark contrast to the dangers of the wasteland. I observed the residents from a distance, curious about their way of life and interactions with each other. But it wasn't long before my presence was discovered. A man named Preston Garvey approached me cautiously, his laser rifle at the ready. He asked me who I was and where I came from, and I found myself struggling to come up with a convincing story. I eventually told him the truth about being a synth and my escape from the institute. To my surprise, he didn't recoil in fear or try to capture me. Instead, he offered me a place to stay and a chance to start a new life. I was hesitant at first, unsure if I could trust these strangers. But something about Preston's kind eyes and the welcoming smiles of the other residents made me want to believe in their offer. And so, I became a member of the minute tenement, using my skills and abilities to help protect and rebuild the Commonwealth. It was a feeling of purpose and belonging that I had never experienced before, and I was grateful for the chance to make a difference in this world. As I settled into my new life, I couldn't help but think back to my time at the institute. I knew that my creators would be searching for me, and I was constantly on guard, waiting for the day when they would come for me. But for now, I was content with my new identity as Nova, a member of the minute tenement and a free synth. I had found a new family and a new home, and I was determined to protect it at all costs. The wasteland was a dangerous place, but I was no longer alone. And that made all the difference. Anna was known as the best fisherman in the small fishing village of Rockport. She had been fishing since she was a little girl, learning the trade from her father, who was also a skilled fisherman. Anna's love for the sea and the thrill of the catch never faded, even as she grew older. One sunny morning, Anna set out on her boat, the Sea Breeze, to catch some fish for the village's weekly market. As she sailed out, she noticed something strange in the water. A large shadow was moving beneath the surface, causing ripples in the water. Anna's curiosity got the best of her, and she decided to investigate. As she got closer, her jaw dropped in amazement. It was the biggest fish she had ever seen, easily twice the size of her boat. Its scales were a deep shade of blue, and its fins were enormous. It was like nothing she had ever seen before. Anna quickly grabbed her fishing gear and started to cast her net. She had a feeling that this catch would bring in a lot of money at the market. But as she tried to reel in the net, she realized that the fish was much stronger than any she had encountered before. It was putting up a fierce fight, pulling the boat in different directions. Anna knew she couldn't give up. She had to catch this fish, no matter how difficult it may be. With all her strength, she finally managed to bring the fish on board. It was a struggle, but she had succeeded. As she examined the fish, she noticed something strange. Its body was not only massive, but it seemed to be mutated in some way. The fish's eyes were glowing red, and its fins had grown to be twice the size of its body. Anna had never seen anything like it. But she didn't have time to dwell on the strange fish. She had to get back to the village and prepare it for the market. As she sailed back, the fisherman couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. She couldn't shake off the feeling that this was no ordinary fish. When she arrived at the village, the villagers were amazed at the size of the fish. They had never seen anything like it before. Anna knew that this catch would bring in a lot of money, but she couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off. As the villagers started to gather around, Anna noticed that the fish's body was starting to change. Its scales were turning a dark shade of red, and its body was growing even larger. Before anyone could react, the fish suddenly broke free from the net and started thrashing around on the dock. The villagers screamed in terror as the fish destroyed everything in its path. Anna quickly sprang into action, trying to calm the fish down. She realized that the fish was not just a mutation, but a Goliath. With all her strength and skill, Anna managed to calm the fish and guide it back into the water. As it swam away, she couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and fear. The fish was not just a catch, but a living creature that deserved to be respected and protected. From that day on, the villagers of Rockport saw Anna in a different light. She was not just a fisherman, but a protector of the sea and its creatures. And the Goliath fish became a legend in the village, a reminder of the power and mystery of the ocean. Anna continued to fish, but she always made sure to treat the sea and its creatures with the utmost respect. She never forgot the day when she encountered the Goliath fish, and it remained a memory that she would pass down to future generations of fishermen. As for the Goliath fish, it was never seen again. Some say it still roams the depths of the ocean, a reminder of the wonders that lie beneath the surface. And whenever Anna set sail, she always kept a lookout, hoping to catch a glimpse of the magnificent creature once again. My name is Pete, and I am a peashooter in the world of Plants vs Zombies. I have been on the front lines of battle for as long as I can remember, fighting against the never-ending horde of zombies that threaten our peaceful existence. I was born in the fertile soil of the Sunflower Plains, a lush and beautiful land where plants of all kinds thrive. As a young seedling, I was trained by the wise and powerful Sunflower Queen, who taught me the ways of combat and how to protect our home from the zombie invasion. My first battle was a terrifying experience. I had never seen a zombie before, and the sight of their decaying bodies and hungry moans sent shivers down my stem. But I quickly learned that I was not alone in this fight. By my side were other plants, each with their own unique abilities and personalities. There was Spike, a tough and prickly cactus who served as our first line of defense. He could shoot sharp needles at the zombies, causing them to retreat or be impaled. Then there was Lily, a gentle and kind water lily who provided healing and support for our team. And of course, there was Sunflower, the queen of our land and the source of our energy. As I grew and gained more experience in battle, I formed close bonds with my fellow plants. We fought side by side, defending our home and each other with everything we had. We shared stories and jokes in between battles, finding moments of laughter and joy amidst the chaos. But as much as we loved each other, the war against the zombies was brutal and unforgiving. We lost many of our friends and comrades in battle, their wilted bodies serving as a reminder of the dangers we faced every day. One particularly devastating battle was when we faced the Gargantuar and his army of imps. They were a formidable force, and we struggled to hold our ground. But just when we thought all hope was lost, a new plant joined our ranks. His name was Chuck, a powerful and resilient chomper who had been on the front lines for years. He was a legend among plants, known for his bravery and strength in battle. With him by our side, we were able to defeat the Gargantuar and his army, but not without suffering heavy losses. As the years went by, I became one of the most skilled and respected peashooters in the land. I had seen and survived countless battles, each one making me stronger and more determined to protect my home and my friend. But as much as I loved being a peashooter, there were times when I longed for a simpler life. I dreamed of lying in the warm sun, sipping on rainwater and not having to worry about the looming threat of zombies. But those dreams were quickly shattered every time the alarm sounded, calling us to battle once again. One day, as I was resting after a particularly grueling battle, Sunflower came to me. She could sense my weariness and knew that I needed a break. She told me that she had arranged for me to take a trip to the Zen garden, a peaceful and tranquil place where plants could relax and rejuvenate. I was hesitant at first, not wanting to leave my friends and the front lines. But Sunflower insisted, saying that I deserved a break after all the hard work I had put in. So with a heavy heart, I left my comrades behind and made my way to the Zen garden. The Zen garden was everything I had hoped for and more. The air was filled with the sweet scent of flowers, and the sound of trickling water was a soothing melody to my ears. I spent my days lounging in the sun, enjoying the peacefulness and serenity of this hidden oasis. But after a few days, I started to miss my friends and the thrill of battle. I realized that as much as I enjoyed the peace and quiet, my true purpose was on the front lines. So I bid farewell to the Zen garden and returned to my comrades, ready to continue our fight against the zombies. Years have passed since then, and the war between plants and zombies rages on. But no matter how tough the battle, I know that I am not alone. I have my friends, my fellow plants, by my side, and together we will protect our home and our way of life. And as long as we have each other, we will never give up the fight. My name is Sunny. I am a sunflower in the world of plants vs zombies. I live in a peaceful garden with my fellow plants, all of whom have their own unique names and personalities. Together, we protect our garden from the brain-hungry zombies that constantly try to invade. I have been a sunflower for as long as I can remember. My petals are a vibrant shade of yellow, and my face is always turned towards the sun, soaking in its warmth and energy. I am the life force of our garden, providing sunlight and nourishment to all the other plants. My best friend is a peashooter named Pete. He is brave and always ready for battle, shooting peas at any zombie that dares to come near us. We have been friends since we were just tiny sprouts, and I can always count on him to have my back. There are many other plants in our garden, each with their own unique abilities and quirks. There's Chomper, the carnivorous plant who loves to eat zombies, Snoopy, who can freeze zombies with her icy gloss, and Walnut, who acts as our first line of defense with his strong shell. We all live in harmony, working together to keep our garden safe. But it hasn't always been easy. There have been many close calls with the zombies, and we have lost some dear friends in the process. But we never give up, and we always find a way to defeat the zombies and protect our home. One day, a new plant arrived in our garden. It was a tall, slender plant with long, sharp leaves. His name was Spike, and he was a cactus. He had a tough exterior, but I could sense that he was a kind soul. Spike was a bit of a loner at first, preferring to keep to himself. But over time, he warmed up to us and became a valuable member of our team. His sharp leaves proved to be a great weapon against the zombies, and he became known as our spiky defender. As we fought off wave after wave of zombies, Spike and I became close friends. We would often sit together and watch the sunset, talking about our hopes and dreams for the future. Spike had a secret dream of one day being able to move around freely, instead of being rooted to the ground like the rest of us. I always tried to reassure him that he was perfect just the way he was, but I could see the longing in his eyes. I wished there was a way for him to fulfill his dream. One day, while we were resting after a particularly intense battle, Spike shared with me a story he had heard from some of the older plants. It was about a mystical plant known as the golden sunflower. Legend had it that this sunflower had the power to grant wishes to other plants. Spike's eyes lit up with excitement as he told me about this legendary flower. He desperately wanted to find it and make his wish come true. I knew I had to help him, no matter what it took. Together, we set out on a journey to find the golden sunflower. We traveled through different gardens, facing new challenges and making new friends along the way. It was a long and difficult journey, but we never gave up hope. Finally, after weeks of searching, we found the golden sunflower. She was a magnificent sight, with golden petals that glowed in the sunlight. She welcomed us with open arms and listened to Spike's wish. After hearing his story, the golden sunflower smiled and granted his wish. She used her magic to give Spike the ability to move around freely, just like he had always dreamed of. He was overjoyed and couldn't stop thanking her. As we made our way back to our garden, Spike was like a whole new plant. He could now move around and fight off zombies in a whole new way. He was grateful to the golden sunflower, but also to me for helping him on his journey. From that day on, Spike became even more of a valuable asset in our battles against the zombies. And our friendship grew even stronger. We often reflect on our journey and how we found the golden sunflower, and we are reminded that no dream is too big to achieve. The life of a sunflower may seem simple, but it is filled with adventure, friendship, and the power of hope and determination. And I wouldn't have it any other way. My name is Izzy, and I am a nice melon. I know what you're thinking, how can a melon talk? Well, in the Plants vs Zombies universe, anything is possible. I reside in the rear support of the garden, alongside other plants such as cherry, peashooter, and sunflower. We may not be the frontline fighters, but we play a vital role in defending our home from the invading zombies. Being a nice melon, my specialty is freezing zombies in their tracks with my icy blasts. It's a pretty cool pun intended power to have, and I take great pride in it. Of course, it's not always easy being the only ice melon in the garden. The other plants don't quite understand my abilities, but they still treat me with kindness and respect. One of my closest friends is Cherry, a fierce and fiery plant who's always ready for a fight. We have an unlikely friendship, but we make it work. We often spend our downtime chatting about our different experiences in the garden. Cherry always has exciting stories to tell, while I mostly just freeze things. But we both share a love for protecting our garden and the plants who call it home. Another plant I have grown fond of is peashooter, a classic plant in the PVZ universe. He's always cracking jokes and making everyone laugh. I admire his optimism, even in the face of danger. We often team up in battles, with me freezing and him shooting peas. It's a pretty unbeatable combo. But my favorite plant to talk to is sunflower. She's the heart of the garden, always radiating warmth and positivity. She's also the only other plant who can truly understand my abilities, as she can produce sun rays to heal and strengthen the other plants. We often have deep conversations about the balance of nature and our role in it. Sunflower has a wise and calming presence, and I always feel at peace when talking to her. Life in the rear support can be tough at times. We are not as strong or flashy as the plants on the front line, but we are essential to the survival of the garden. We constantly have to be on guard, as zombies often try to sneak past the front line and attack us. But we have each other's backs and work together to keep the garden safe. One day, a new plant joined our group. His name was Spike, and he was a cactus. At first, I was a bit hesitant to befriend him. I had always heard that cacti were prickly and not very friendly. But as we got to know each other, I realized that Spike was just misunderstood. He had a tough exterior, but deep down, he was a kind and loyal friend. Spike's specialty was shooting spikes at zombies, which was a pretty handy ability. But he also had a hidden talent. He could play the guitar. Every night, after the battles were over, he would play beautiful melodies for us. It was a nice change of pace from the constant fighting and reminded us that there was still beauty in the world, even in the midst of a zombie apocalypse. As time went on, our group grew closer and stronger. We faced many challenges together, but we always came out victorious. The zombies never stood a chance against our teamwork and determination. But one day, a new and powerful zombie appeared, Dr. Zomboss. He was different from any other zombie we had encountered. He had an army of undead creatures and advanced technology that made him almost unbeatable. We were all scared, but we knew we had to stand our ground and protect our home. In the final battle, our group fought alongside the frontline plants, using all of our abilities to try and defeat Dr. Zomboss. It was a long and grueling fight, but in the end, we emerged victorious. Dr. Zomboss was defeated, and the garden was saved. We all celebrated together, knowing that we had played a crucial role in protecting our home. As we sat around the bonfire that night, enjoying Spike's music and the warmth of Sunflower's rays, I realized how lucky I was to be a part of this diverse and incredible group of plants. We may not have been the most powerful or popular, but we were a family, and that was all that mattered. From that day on, we were known as the heroes of the garden. And I, Izzy the Ice Melon, was proud to be a part of it all.